The Space Marines of Warhammer 40k are amongst the most iconic warriors in fiction, forged through a blend of genetic sciences, of brutal training, and absolute loyalty to their leader, the Emperor of Mankind. But there are heretics and traitors as well. So here in this video we will take a look at the Ultramarines, the good guys, and the Thousand Sons, the bad guys. We will take a look at their differences and their comparison. The two types of Space Marines that appeared in the Space Marine 2 video game. So let's get to it. The Space Marines were created in the 30th millennium during the Emperor's Unification Wars, made for his Great Crusade, a monumental effort to reunite humanity scattered across the stars. With the galaxy teeming with aliens, rogue psychers and war-born horrors, ordinary human armies weren't up to the task. Thus the Emperor engineered the Space Marines. They were superhuman warriors, far stronger, faster and more durable than any regular soldier, each molded from the genetic material of the Emperor's own gene sons, the Primarchs. Space Marine legions led by their respective Primarchs became the vanguard of the Great Crusade, reclaiming lost human worlds and expanding the realm of humanity. But then comes the Horus Heresy, and the legions led by their respective Primarchs broke into the Loyalists and the Traitors. Anyway, that's that. So here's a bit of history on the 15th Legion, the Thousand Sons, and the 13th Legion, the Ultramarines. Starting with the 15th Legion, known as the Thousand Sons, they were steeped in psychic power from the beginning. Their Primarch, Magnus the Red, was a mighty sorcerer who valued knowledge and the arcane. The Legion was naturally gifted with psychic abilities, which initially made them invaluable on the battlefield. However, their reliance on sorcery and the mutations they suffered because of their powers sowed the seeds of their tragic fate. They were based from a planet called Prospero, which became a large community for the psychically talented and often psychically mutated humans who could not find refuge elsewhere in the galaxy. The Thousand Sons were actually the most empathetic and the most sympathetic legion towards the lesser human race, even so than the Salamanders, with their main goal being saving lesser humans and bringing them up. But this all changed obviously after their fall to chaos. The 13th Legion, the Ultramarines, were a legion under Primarch Ruburi Gilliman. They were structured, disciplined, and methodical, priding themselves on their adaptability in battle. As the Great Crusade unfolded, the Ultramarines became the largest legion, claiming more worlds and expanding the boundaries of the Imperium through their exceptional organizational skills. They were based from a world called Macragh, which was, before the Great Crusade, the capital of a prospering mini-empire called the Realm of Ultramar, which still managed to solidify a great amount of autonomy even after the heresy. Life in Ultramar was way better than the hive worlds of the Imperium, and the citizens there have a certain degree of rights and privileges as well. However, while the Ultramarines do strive to take the best care of the population under their dominion, they still view them as cogs in the imperial wheel and sometimes are apathetic to their plights. The Ultramarines are known for being the source of the largest number of Space Marines as of the current setting due to their stable gene seed, which means that they suffer fewer mutations and instabilities compared to other Astartes. This stability made them highly reliable, allowing them to grow into the largest of all Space Marine legions before the heresy. And during the galaxy-wide civil war led by the traitor War Master Horus, the Ultramarines remained loyal to the Emperor. After the war, they played a pivotal role in rebuilding the Imperium, creating the Codex Astartes, a guidebook for all Space Marines. This codex structured the once massive legions into smaller, more flexible chapters, thereby ensuring the Imperium's survival in the turbulent millennia that followed. On the other hand, the Thousand Sons, in the very beginning, suffered from a crippling mutation known as the Flesh Change, where their bodies would uncontrollably warp into grotesque forms. In a desperate attempt to save his legion, Magnus the Red sacrificed one of his own eyes in a dark ritual that bound their souls to sorcery, effectively curing the mutation. But the act secured the Thousand Sons' future and also deepened their reliance on warp magic. Their sorcerous ways, however, put them at odds with the Emperor, who had forbidden the use of psychic powers in the Council of Nicaea. But just before the heresy, Magnus the Red attempted to warn the Emperor of Horus's betrayal using his powers. He unwittingly shattered the Emperor's psychic wards their defenses leading to the webway being infiltrated by demons. The Emperor then ordered the Space Wolves Legion to apprehend Magnus, but the mission turned into slaughter of the entire legion due to Horus's betrayal. The resulting battle, known as the Burning of Prospero, ended with the near destruction of the Thousand Suns and their retreat into the Warp. In their new home, Ahriman, and later on one of Magnus's chief sorcerers, performed the Rubric of Ahriman, a spell meant to cure the remaining flesh change. However, the spell backfired, turning most of the Thousand Suns into soulless dust-filled automatons called the Rubric Marines, encased in their armor for eternity, and the ones blessed with certain levels of psychic powers, the Rubric made them sorcerers of great potential. Anyway, I digress. I've gone on a little bit of a tangent here. So going back to the gene seeds, these are unique genetic material used to transform a neophyte into a superhuman space marine. It is used to grow the artificial organs that distinguish an Adeptus Astartes from an ordinary human, and helps alter the biology to accept the implanted organs. Gene seed is the Space Marine chapter's most precious resource, and is conserved by extracting the progenitor glands from the fallen battle brothers to return to the chapter's fortress monastery. The Ultramarines have one of the most purest gene seeds, resulting in relatively few mutations among their Space Marines. This purity made them the template for many successor chapters across the galaxy, which are around or more than 75% of the total Astartes as of the current setting. In contrast, the Thousand Suns gene seed was highly unstable right from their beginning, maybe due to their psychic potential. The flesh change was the most notable mutation, causing horrific transformations in the warriors. Magnus's intervention and their later descent into chaos led to their gene seed becoming irrevocably tainted. Today, the Thousand Suns have embraced their sorcerous nature, with the surviving warriors either potent psychers or sorcerers, and the majority of them being dust-encased Rubric Marines. This also brings up a hotly debated topic as to whether the Thousand Suns could or do recruit members into their ranks in the current setting. The point against them being losing their gene seed stocks in Prospero, and that the Rubrics are the only ones that are seen or mentioned aside from their sorcerers. So that's still a big question mark. Due to the rubric casted by Ahriman, every Thousand Sun who survived became either a powerful sorcerer who was enhanced in their abilities to the maximum, or they became a Rubric Marine who is now a soulless automaton with no apparent autonomy. The sorcerers wield tremendous psychic power, using warp energy to cast spells, summon demons, and manipulate reality. The Rubric Marines, on the other hand, are encased in ancient power armor, their bodies reduced to mere dust, controlled solely by the will of the sorcerers, and although they cannot die, they essentially do not experience living either. This split between the potent psychers and the nearly indestructible soulless warriors makes the Thousand Suns a very dangerous force, a fine pool for supervillains to come up with a massive, ghostly robotic army. The Ultramarines are known for being the jack of all trades. They, like others, were originally composed of Space Marines, and now called Firstborn, that have fought for millennia. They have always been the largest legion in terms of number, followed by the Dark Angels closely. After the heresy and the break of the legions into chapters to avoid another catastrophic war should there be another rebellion again, the Ultramarines were the source of most successor chapters. As of the recent introduction of the Primaris Marines, which are essentially upgrades delivered by Guilliman and Belisarius Cawl, created through further gene seed modifications, this has bolstered their ranks and numbers even more. Led by their revived Primarch, Roberto Guilliman, the Ultramarines now integrate both Firstborn and Primaris warriors seamlessly, showing their ability to adapt while maintaining their adherence to the Codex Astartes. Now let's head to armor and coloration. The Ultramarines typically paint their power armor and vehicles a medium ultramarine blue, and their symbol is an inverted U, or a white Grecian letter called an upsilon. The Ultramarines also utilize black and yellow chevrons, usually on weapons such as Power Fist. The Ultramarines incorporate the double-headed Aquila into their personal and vehicle iconography, with a particular emphasis on the use of the symbol with officers and elite squads. They also have a golden trim, which is usually present on any use of the Aquila in the Ultramarines iconography. The upsilon here is said to be an ancient glyph taken from the star charts of the region of Ultramar. As for the armors, the Astartes have always used the Mark 7 Aquila as standard for the firstborn, but now with the Primaris, the Mark 10 has become contemporary. As for the Thousand Sons, the pre-heresy power armor color scheme before being united with their Primarch displayed the colors of the ancient Achaemenid Empire of Old Earth. Then the Thousand Sons color scheme following their unification with Magnus the Red and the Legion's relocation to Prospero became red in honor of their Primarch. In the wake of the Horus Heresy, the Thousand Sons abandoned the red color and adopted blue and yellow as their livery, while they converted to the service of Tzeentch. As for their armors, these are likely the Heresy Age Mark IV armors, but are modified with metallic glyphs and icons all over, which are magical. The Rubric Marines are most noticeable due to their helmets bearing large Egyptian decorated crests that extend upwards of 2 feet or more. The Exalted Sorcerer's helmet's crests are more like horns and spikes, and that in a nutshell is the actual visual difference between the Ultramarines and the Thousand Sons. Now let's take a look at weapons. The Ultramarines wield a versatile arsenal of handheld weapons. Their standard issue are bolt guns, which provide explosive firepower, while the bolt pistols serve as their reliable sidearms. For dealing with heavily armored enemies, they employ plasma pistols or plasma guns and gravity weapons. Flamers and melter guns offer devastating close-range options, with combi weapons providing additional versatility. In melee, they favor power swords, chainsaws and power fists, while elite units wield the thunder hammers and the force weapons. Primaris Marines carry master-crafted bolt rifles, which enhances the Ultramarines' firepower, and specialized units use heavier weapons like assault cannons or storm boulders, ensuring they are prepared for any combat scenario. They essentially have everything that the Imperium can offer except for some specialized weapons of other chapters and of the Dark Angel's secret armory and of the Mechanicus. The weapons of the Rubric Marines, however, are twisted mockeries of their Imperial war gear, adorned with ornate runes that shift with warp energy and fitted with maws that snap open like unnatural creatures. Their primary weapon, the Inferno Bolt Gun, fires mass reactive bolts charged with sorcerous energies that not only shred armor and flesh but also assault the soul. Heavier firepower comes from the Soul Reaper Cannon, which can unleash a relentless stream of devastating fire. Then they also have Warp Flamers, which appear similar to standard flamers, but they emit flames that burn through reality, melting matter and fusing it into hideous forms. Aspiring sorcerers wield Inferno Bolt pistols and Force Staffs, with optional replacements like Force Swords, Axes and Warp Flamers or Plasma Pistols. The Icon of Flame further enhances their weapons with coruscating mutagenic energies. So now, before we end this, let's take a short look at their specialized units. The Thousand Sons are deeply rooted now with Tzeentch and also with other Chaos factions. As such, they have been able to obtain demonic engines for their forces. One of these, which possesses a dying Space Marine inside of it, is the Hellbrute, which are twisted war machines containing the remains of fallen Thousand Sun warriors, and they have been made in mockery and likeness of the Dreadnoughts. Unlike their loyal counterparts, these Hellbrutes are infused with chaotic energy, making them both unpredictable and terrifying on the battlefield. Then there are also the Scarab Occult Terminators, which are the elite warriors clad in ornate Terminator armor, enhanced with powerful psychic wards. They serve as both heavy infantry and potent psychers capable of unleashing devastating sorcery in the battlefield and killing every enemy. And on the other corner, the Ultramarines now field various specialized Primaris units, each designed for specific combat roles. Inceptors equipped with jump packs and plasma guns bring devastating firepower to key points on the battlefield. Aggressors in Gravis armor serve as a heavy assault troop, equipped with Flag Storm grenade launchers and Auto Bolt Storm gauntlets. Suppressors offer mobile fire support with their accelerated autocannons, which disrupt enemy formations. Then there are also Infiltrators and Eliminators, which are lightly armored. And in addition to these, there are the Terminator squads, which don the classic Indomitus pattern Terminator suit. And also the Ultramarines possess upgraded and larger Dreadnoughts, which are the Redemptor patterns. And then lastly, they now also have the Invictor Tactical Warsuit, which is a lightly armored walker similar to a dreadnought but doesn't contain a dying Space Marine. Instead, they have a healthy Space Marine piloting it, and it is often found fighting alongside Vanguard Space Marines on recon missions. So there you have it, the Ultramarines and the Thousand Suns represent two sides of the Space Marine coin. The Ultramarines embody discipline, structure and adaptability, wielding a vast array of weapons with strategic precision. They stand as the Imperium's finest, both in military might and organizational skill, thanks to their stable gene seed. On the other hand, the Thousand Suns are a tragic tale of ambition, knowledge and betrayal. Their descent into sorcery and chaotic mutation of their gene seed transformed them into a force of psychic might and of arcane power, forever altering their role to the galaxy, serving the Chaos God Tzeentch. Where the Ultramarines strive to uphold the Emperor's vision, the Thousand Suns march to a fate steeped with warp magic and eldritch horror. So, that's the end of this video. If you like this one, then watch this other one too. And if you want to browse for other Warhammer and sci-fi content, then check out our channel. So subscribe and like for support, and bang on the bell icon for notifications on new video uploads. Till the next time, take care, boys.